Hey everyone, thank you so very much for tuning in. Darktoylord here. Well, he's finally here. Transformers Combiner Wars Onslaught. It's the final piece needed in order to assemble Bruticus. I'm really excited for this. Alright, so quick look at the figure and the packaging. Here we have our typical Combiner Wars package. We have a nice graphic right there of Bruticus, of Onslaught. We're going to spin this guy around the side, nothing fancy there. On the back we have a photograph of Onslaught in robot mode, Onslaught in vehicle mode. You can see it takes 13 steps for the complete transformation. Up here top left hand corner we have a little blurb about the character. Over here on the right we have a graphic or schematic type graphic of Bruticus. As well as images of all the other characters needed to form Bruticus. We've already gone through those reviews, but you can see here again we've got Blastoff, Vortex, Onslaught, which we're looking at today, Swindle, and Brawl. On this side of the box, here's a nice artistic rendering of Bruticus, and which brings us back to the front. So let's go ahead, get this guy opened up, and take a closer look at the figure itself. Okay, inside the packaging we have the instruction manual. We have this Onslaught collector's card. We have his weapon, which can be broken apart. So 2 blasters, I imagine, for Onslaught, and then 1 giant blaster for Bruticus mode. And then we have Onslaught. Alright, so Onslaught is just a retool of the Hotspot Projectobot mold that we've had earlier. I mean, he looks great. He looks great. He looks like Onslaught. So they did a good job retooling that mold. I don't recall when I first opened up Hotspot if he had the same problem, but this guy just feels cheap. And it might be because they had to keep a lot of the parts hollow because the legs, like for instance the legs here, are going to need to collapse in on themselves. There's not a lot of heft to him. He just kind of feels cheap. The joints, they seem really loose. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of feel like the shoulders here move way too easy. And definitely the knees is just way too loose here. Kind of feel like maybe it needed a stronger ratcheting system, or maybe something's not plugging in the way it's like it should for the security, but I guess we'll get to that when we do the transformation. In regards to the figure, see if we get a close-up here on his head. Against the white background so I can actually see it. So that's a great Onslaught head for sure. I'm not going to complain about that at all. In regards to articulation, so the head on a ball joint, shoulders, got a ratchet here. This no ratchet, just a swivel, and it's like I said, it's really loose. Or is that a hinge? Anyway, the bicep does not swivel at all. The elbow, you get a 9-degree motion there. No waist articulation. The hips, a nice ratchet there, as well as in this direction. Thigh and swivel. And the knee's a mess. So it's got a double jointing system, probably to help the transformation, have the leg collapse in on itself. This knee looks like, well, you get more than 90 degrees because the leg's going to collapse. But yeah, it's just nothing's holding together, and it's really just kind of blah. All right, but anyway, I digress. So there's Onslaught. Let's go ahead and start the transformation. see how the vehicle mode looks, and then we'll get to the Bruticus mode. Okay, so first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to pop open the chest plate right here, and we're going to fold Onslaught's head down and into his chest, and then close that back up. We're going to come over here to the shoulders and pop up these panels on both sides. Take the arms, we're going to fold the arms up and spin them around. Actually, spin them like this so that the wheels line up. Alright, so it's kind of tough to see, but there's a hole right there, and there's a peg right here that needs to go in. That'll help keep the arm secure. So do that on both sides. And then once you have them secure, you're going to fold them up, rotate them as well. And then try to peg everything together. Like so, and that'll be the front of our vehicle mode. Alright, next let's come down here to the legs. Let's fold the heels in. Let's bend the legs around 180, and then we're going to collapse them in on themselves. So this is where the double joint comes into play. You need to make sure you have everything folded correctly in order to collapse this leg. And also, you can see it, there's a peg right here that's going to peg into this slot right here. So you could keep that in mind when moving everything around. And you have both legs collapsed, and you're going to peg them into each other. Take the feet, fold them up, so, and then we're going to take these panels right here and fold them down. So that's vehicle mode. One last touch is we're going to take the cannons and we're going to peg them in right here. So you want to spin them so the actual, what would be the robot mode handle is facing up like this, and it's going to peg into the hole right next to the Bruticus head. And so here's Onslaught vehicle mode. Not too bad. I can kind of get a hint of a military vehicle. So this would be obviously where the people drive the vehicle. One issue that I have, it's really gappy. You can see right through it. But if you ignore that, it looks kind of neat. It looks really neat. Oh, that gap right here too. But much like I said with the other reviews I've done, is that we're not buying this toy for this particular vehicle mode. We're buying it really so we can make Bruticus. So there's certain things that you need to allow, and that I guess would be one of those things. So that being said, let's go ahead and transform this guy into his Bruticus form. Okay, so I went back to robot mode. That's the version, so the instructions show you transforming into Bruticus from robot mode. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pop open the chest plate and we're going to fold in Onslaught's head and close that back up. Let's come down here at the feet. We're going to fold up the heels. We can fold up the toes. We can come to the back here and spin this whole assembly around. And then the Bruticus head, we're going to unfold. So fold it down here. And then this whole piece right here that's covering the Bruticus head, we're going to unfold that as well. Alright, and then spin him around. Actually, this kind of clips into place right in here, using these pegs here. So you might need a little bit of work to get it in place. Here we go. So that'll clip there. Then you can fold this back plate down, spin them back around. So take the arms. We're going to take the arms, we're going to spin them like this so that the wheels are facing down. And then we're going to take the forearm, we're going to fold it up and in on itself. And you'll see there's a peg here, a hole here, and a peg here, and a hole here. So it's just going to all peg into place like this. Do the same for the other arm. All right, and then once you have them in place, what you can do is you can unfold the chest plate, and you'll see it'll peg in here. You can unfold the crotch plate. Then we're going to come down here to the legs. We're going to spin them so the wheels are facing the inner thigh. And we're going to collapse these in on themselves, like so. And there you have, there's the Bruticus mode. Oh, actually, one last thing. I forget. The guns we can plug in here, and then you'll see his cannons over his shoulders. Alright, so there you have it. There is the Bruticus mode for Onslaught. I really like that Bruticus head. Looks exactly the way that I expect it to look. No light piping. Not that that's a big deal. It's just unfortunate that sometimes... So he has red eyes, and depending on the lighting, you really just don't see them. So light piping may have been cool for that. But there you go. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.